Let me show you how to do nothing. It looks like this. I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. When's the last time you did nothing? When we have anything in our life that is wrong, our first initial reaction is to fix it. Whether it's a physical illness or we're just having thoughts that we don't want to have. Those who struggle with OCD sometimes have to figure this out. Well, at least they think they do. What am I supposed to do about these thoughts? How are we supposed to respond? And while every person is different, sometimes there doesn't have to be a response. Have you ever thought of that? I find that people often get obsessive over whether they're doing the treatment for OCD and anxiety right or wrong. What if I have no response at all? What if you did nothing? Nada. Zilch. I think I just said nothing. Cool. I mean, this works for most people. They do have the ability to completely do nothing. It's not that they are purposely trying to ignore it or push it away. They just have this ability to say, there's a thought, nothing. I'm not gonna do anything with it. For those with children, you may have experienced this before. A child sitting in the backseat of the car, they just start chatting away. 10 minutes passed and you realize, oh boy, they're still talking. I didn't even realize what they're saying. And guess what? They didn't even need a response because you knew they were going to just continue to talk no matter what you said. That's kind of just how kids are. I think about that with our brain. It's gonna keep with the chatter. We don't need to respond to it. This kid has been talking the whole time. You were just living your own life. Essentially, you tuned it out. And this is exactly what I mean. If you have this ability with OCD, let's do it. Naturally tune this thing out. Not as a way to distract or push away. It's just like, by doing this, you are simply taking any power and value away from it. So really what I'm trying to say is there does not always have to be something you do to respond to your OCD. Yes, I know I got the maybes all over the place. You don't even have to use a maybe. You can, but if you choose to respond, let's use what some people call non-engagement responses. And here are a few ways we can do this. First, we can acknowledge any emotion or feeling that we're having. It throws out a threat. You have cancer, even though you saw the doctor and he said that you didn't. My response is, well, I'm feeling anxious about this. What I'm not going to do is say, no, the doctor said everything's fine, it's good, here's the paperwork. No, you trust in the doctor. If you did have cancer, they would let you know, right? But we're not using that for reassurance. We're accepting what we know. I'm accepting a feeling as a feeling. So here's another one. You know, you offended that person. What if you did something really wrong? Maybe inappropriate. You know, I don't really know if I offended that person. I'm choosing to not know. Here's one you're probably familiar with. You know how risky it is for you to be driving right now? You just went over that bump on the road. How do you know it wasn't a person? My response? You know, anything's possible. Bah! Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I'm choosing to not go back and check. One more for you. Do you remember that thing you did in the past? Like, what if this ruins your future? My answer? Well, that would really stink, wouldn't it? Wow, that's the only answer the brain needs. Cool. Thanks for the idea. Let me follow that up for you. All of these responses are not really engaging with the OCD, but simply using statements as if I really just do not care. I'm choosing to not figure this out anymore. What it is really doing is helping you not problem solve this thing anymore. You are willing to take the risk, whatever it takes. And you choose to either continue moving on with your day, do nothing about it, or you're giving these non-engaging type of responses. Saying maybe is an example of one of these. I remember looking at a home and just a few streets away were some train tracks. We were told, I asked the guy, hey, does that train run anymore? And he's like, oh no, that train has not been running for a long time. Great. The last thing I want to do is hear a really loud train in my new home. So guess what? We bought the house. Within the first week, guess what I heard? Brrr, a train. We were lied to, we were deceived. We spent months being bitter. I heard this train a few times a week, sometimes in the middle of the night. My brain went into problem-solving mode. Man, I can't believe this happened. I went on our neighborhood page and everyone else said, oh yeah, we fell for the same thing. So how can I fix this problem? The realtor sold me a home, and guess what? They no longer work for that company. They don't care. I exhausted all my options. What am I gonna say? He said the train didn't go here anymore. Yeah, what's that gonna do? Yet my brain would wait for the next train sound, and when I heard it, all those feelings and frustration came hurtling back. I would be so hyper aware of the next time I heard that train. Oh, I gotta fix this somehow. What am I gonna do? There's no solution. I'm not gonna move. So here's what I came up with. I eventually had to do nothing. Nada. Zilch. nothing, nothing, nothing. Instead, I had to change my reaction to every time I heard this train. It wasn't a good sound. It wasn't a bad sound. It was a sound. I had to accept that I was going to hear it. I actually started saying, I'm loving this, man. I'm loving this sound. Woo, free vibrating bed, and I'm sitting up. I didn't have to pay a single thing for it. I can't wait for it to come around again. No, I didn't have to believe it, but I gave these responses, and then I realized I no longer am noticing the train. It didn't go anywhere. It stayed on schedule, but I simply took its power away by giving these responses, by saying, I can't do anything. I can keep whining about it. I can move, very expensive, or I can just deal with it. Ultimately, I'm in my new home, and I can still have these bad feelings. Ultimately, I accept that I am here. I can have negative feelings about it, but I learned to not let it dictate the decisions in my life. There are going to be moments where you have to accept that things are what they are, and they don't always have to have meaning. Risk that I don't always have to answer something, which is why we use these maybe, maybe not statements when we can. I love these responses because it simply tells your brain, this no longer matters in my life. Keep coming at me, bro. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I teach much more specific responses in my online Master Your OCD course, and I take you through this step by step. Check out that in the description below. Also, let me know what responses you're gonna start telling your OCD in the comments. Are you ready to do like nothing? No matter how strong and important it feels, let's do nothing together. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.